Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. If you're thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, Tammie Sykes has some advice for you. Tammie, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Bill. I'm great to be here.
Tammie, tell us a little bit about your background. Introduce our audience to your life.
My name is Tammie Sykes. I am the co-owner of Dion Michaels Skincare for Men. It is a two-step skincare system for men of all ages, ethnicities, and colors. College graduate, not a serial entrepreneur, was a worker bee, and then decided with my business partner that we wanted to go into entrepreneurship full time. So when we first met in college, we did have a first try at entrepreneurship, which failed. We kind of broke up for a while, reacquainted ourselves, and we found out we never lost the dream. So we talked about having a second business, which is the one we're talking about now, which is Dion Michaels, and is so much more successful than the first business. So now full-time entrepreneurship, both me and my business partner, and we're having fun doing it.
Now, we're an equal opportunity show, so I want you to give your business partner a little credit. Can we have her name?
Her name is Simone Randall. And again, we've been best friends all the way back in college. And I love working with her. She's a business partner, a friend, a confidant, and just wanted to give her a shout out.
Now, you mentioned that you had a failure first, and I actually think That's always a good thing. Did you learn anything in particular, or did you learn 32 things not to do? Or what out of that would you say would be a lesson that you would pass on to someone?
I think the first lesson that I want the listeners to understand is to do something that you're passionate about. I think when we started the first business back in college, we weren't really passionate about it. We were just, selling some merchandise, just trying to make some money for school. And I think that's part of the reason why it did not, we weren't able to sustain it. It's like you said, there are going to be some easy days, some tough days. And if you're passionate about what you're doing, the tough days are not so tough. Simone and I decided that when we started Dion Michaels, we wanted to keep in line with a passion. And so when we were going to college, both of us had really terrible issues with our skin. It was something that really affected our confidence. And we were on a journey to find out what worked out for us. And so that was kind of the impetus for starting Dion Michaels. It was a passion of ours because we found out what worked for us and our confidence grew. And so what we wanted to do was kind of lean on that passion to start a skincare line so that others can feel passionate about their skin. Now, when we made the decision to do women versus men, we decided that we wanted to serve an underserved market. There are a lot of women products that are already out there. Plenty for women to choose from, but we decided that men were kind of underserved. They really didn't have anything that was specifically for them. And so we decided that we were going to not only feed a passion that was important to us, which was skincare, but we wanted to serve an underserved market, which was men. And then hence, that's why we went in the direction of starting a men's skincare line.
Now, Tammie, were you and Simone always what we might call entrepreneurial people looking to start your own business? Did you kind of fall into this, or did you take a course and say, hey, we got a good idea, let's kind of explore this? This is a good time in life to do it?
You know what, we were, again, what we learned from the first business, which was a failure, to the business that we have now, is that we had a lot of work experience under our belts. And when we decided this time that we were going to start this business, Dion Michaels, we did. We took some classes. And I think the most important thing we did, Bill, is that we joined an accountability group, a mastermind group. And I think that's one of the main things I think that separated us from success, now and failure back then. When we were stuck, as far as marketing strategies and accounting and things of that nature, we didn't have the experience to get us over the hump, and so we lost money. We weren't able to adapt to the environment. So this particular time, we said we're going to be connected with some people that know what they're doing, and some people who have already been there. So we joined a mastermind group of people that already have 6-figure, 7-figure businesses, and we joined that group. And it was an investment, but it was an investment that paid off because we're never at a point where we're stuck in our business. There's always someone in the group that could tell us how to do this, and give us really sound advice, because they're there. They've been there. They we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So I think that was one of the major things that I want to just tell your audience, especially people that are in business. Get connected with some sort of accountability group, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's a mentor, someone that can help you so that you don't stay stuck. Because the longer you stay stuck, Bill, I think the longer you're able to talk yourself into quitting. And when we got stuck, we can just pick up the phone and call somebody and get unstuck and keep moving forward. And then when you're doing that, that builds momentum in your business.
Now, that's a great term that you mentioned. I heard it many years ago. It seemed to be popular around then, but we haven't heard that term, mastermind group. So, can you tell us a little more about it? And I don't mean this as a joke. Where does someone find that? Do you look in, Google and say mastermind group or the phone book? Or is there a store that says masterminds come in the back door here? Where do you find, and basically who is it made up of?
Yeah, you can actually Google, and they do list mastermind groups, but we actually, when you talk to people like in the Small Business Administration, those type of people, they can also identify mastermind and accountability groups that you can join. But we joined this particular one because, again, we knew somebody that was already in business and was quite successful. So again, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So we asked them, how did you do it? What's going on with that? And then they said, well, we're part of this mastermind group. And so we kind of investigated it, joined the group. And when I mean mastermind, it takes the collective minds of everyone. So that if you have a particular problem, then the group comes together and the group solves the problem. We have, Bill, every other Monday, we have like what we call like our hot seat calls. And you come to those calls with a particular business problem or issue. And then the group collectively, they ask, you tell them what the problem is, you give them time to ask questions, to get some understanding, clarity. And then the group starts to suggest things that you can do. And so you're writing down all these ideas and stuff. And so when you end up with finishing with your question and your concern, you have like 5 or 6 different solutions that you can follow through. And again, it helps build momentum and things of that nature. So mastermind, the collective mind of the individual, is helping you to solve your problem.
And I think, Tammie, as you said, why reinvent the wheel? If there's people out there, and admittedly, you and your partner, Simone, were recent college graduates, right?
Yes.
So you're young people is what I'm saying. You haven't, I mean, in the world of experience, there's the people out there who have been doing it 20, 30, 40 years, and you haven't made those mistakes yet, and rightfully so. You're learning like anybody else, a good teacher, an accountant, and having that mastermind group sounds like a fantastic idea for anybody who's going to do this, because that can save you months and months of agony or tons of money that might be spent in the wrong direction or just wasted.
I mean, but yes. Don't. I'm glad you mentioned the money part, because again, you got to invest in your business. And again, when you're starting out at the beginning, shoestringing everything, because this is, Simone and I, we're financing our business. We're self-financing, because what we did, Bill, when we first started out, we still kept our jobs. So we were working on our jobs, financing the business with the money that we were making on our jobs, because we both had pretty good jobs. And then when we got to the point that we were launching our business and we started to see a profit, then we came off of it. And that's another example and another piece of advice I want to give your listeners too. We didn't just come off our jobs and just say, let's see what happens. We stayed at work and we self-financed our business. And again, we waited and we were patient enough to start to see revenue coming in. And then we made the decision that we were going to come off of it. And I'm glad we did it that way. We didn't do it that way the first time. We just came off and just said, you know, what's going to happen is going to happen. And we ended up going broke really quickly. So we did.
Well, you learned, and that was a good lesson to go broke with the first one rather than the main one. Tammie, at this point in the show, I just want to remind our listeners you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Tammie Sykes, Sykes. She is the founder and is it the correct title, president of Dion Michaels Skincare for Men?
Yes, that is correct.
And along with her partners, Simone and Phyllis Randall, they've come up with this company, and they're telling us about some of the problems they faced, etc. Simone, if someone wants to get in touch or learn more or investigate or use your product, is there a website where they can get more information?
Yes, the website address is www.dionmichaels.com, and it's spelled DionMichaels.com. And then I'm gonna make an announcement. We are planning on launching on Amazon. So we sent our first shipment there. So watch out on our social media pages and stuff. We'll be announcing very soon that Dion Michaels will be sold on Amazon also.
Fantastic. This is more good news. And for our audience, if you didn't get that information initially, we go through it at least 2 more times during the show. So just grab a pen or pencil or whatever you like to write with. Now, Tammie, did you have a business plan when you started out, or a strategy, or did you just go to work one morning and say, let's dive in and we'll come up with a product and we'll sell it and we'll get rich?
We actually did have a business plan. And I want to just speak on that, you know, just straight up. First one, we just kind of dived into. Second one, we did have a business plan, especially a concise, very definite mission statement. That's really the key to us, because we got the numbers, the finance part, the marketing part, but I think that the beginning of your business plan starts with a key mission statement. The mission statement is the direction that you're going to take your company. It's kind of the guiding force. And we really took some time out to really put together a very well-defined mission statement, because again, when you're starting to make decisions concerning your business, which direction you need to go, what are you going to do? Should this person come in to your business? Should you go in this direction? Your mission statement is kind of the compass that keeps you on track, so you're not going in all of these different directions. And I want to just read ours real quick. So Dion Michaels Skincare for Men. And it says here, our mission is to make Dion Michaels a household name by producing a simple men's skincare regimen for men of all types and ethnicities that is noticeably different and creates an unmistakable impression. So within that, there's certain kind of guide points in there. First is that we want to make it a household name. So that means that we are not only just want to sell in the United States, but we want a global brand. So now we're not only pushing to just sell in the United States, we're trying to do this thing global, hence putting it on Amazon. So the decision to go on Amazon is one of our decisions to take it global. Next, we said we wanted to produce a simple men's skincare system. So the decision was made to create, at the beginning, a 2-step system. So again, when we were talking to the chemist, they were saying, okay, how many products do you want to create on the first end? Because we had a concise mission statement, we just wanted 2 products. We wanted, because we knew that men did not want to use 5, 6, 8 different products. We wanted it to narrow it down to 2. And then we wanted it for men of all skin types and ethnicities. So we didn't want it to just be for African-American skin, because Simone and I are African-American women. So it took us a little longer working with the chemist to create a formula that can be used for Caucasian men, Asian men, as African-American men, Hispanic men. So again, that directed us as to what we needed the chemist to do. And then we wanted it to be noticeably different. And so when you go on our website, we give you the promise that within 14 days, you will see a noticeable difference in your skin. And so again, it took us, several kind of go arounds with the product, with the chemist to make sure, and we did test groups and everything before we launched to make sure that we can, fulfill what we just said. And so the mission statement kind of helped us to direct the flow and the direction of the company. And so, yes, we have a business plan, but the mission statement is kind of the beginning of it and the thing that kind of guides your business.
Now, Tammie, with any product, you have to get it out there to the people. It has to be available so I and anyone else who wants it can buy it. And in today's world, at a lot of convenient locations, whether it's 7-Elevens, pharmacies, Target, Walmart, et cetera, et cetera. Are you the salesperson? Is it your partner? Did you go out and hire a staff of 1 or 22 people? Or what do you do about getting it out there and selling it?
Yeah, Simone. So I'm the salesperson. I'm the marketing, get the word out gal. Simone is the one who worked with the chemist because she's an esthetician. So Simone was the one who worked with the formula. I'm the one who works with getting the word out. So again, we have, the website. I work with, we had a social media manager that we hired. So we're very active on our social media platforms. As I announced, we are planning on being on Amazon. As a matter of fact, we already sent our first shipment to Amazon. As soon as that gets checked in, we'll be selling on Amazon. And then I'm currently working with a company that is helping us to get our products into retail stores. So I have some retail meetings that are coming up as a matter of fact this month. So that not only we're online, but we're in retail stores. So that is actually coming up, the meetings that are coming up for us to be in like those retail stores that you just mentioned.
Now, Tammie, you mentioned a chemist and getting someone out there, and of course you and your partner. And even if you go the most bare bones, you need some equipment, you need a workspace. And again, even with the wonderful world of computers and the internet today, there's money that's going out. And of course, bills don't stop because you're starting a business. They keep coming in, those darn bills.
Yes.
What did you do to fund this? Did you have a backer selling stock, selling an interest in your company? Because there's money that has to be paid to the chemist, and I'm sure there's other professionals that were involved.
Yes. Right now, we don't have any angel investors or backers. Again, what we planned on when we first said that we were going to start this business is we stayed on our jobs. And Simone and I saved up a certain amount of money to self-finance. We do have some family members that are giving to the business also because they believe in the product. But for the most part, Bill, we squirreled away some money, quite a bit, so that we wouldn't have any cash flow issues getting this thing off the ground. And so, and again, when you have that money, to spend to do certain things, it takes a lot of pressure off. And again, we had to be patient because we wanted to come off our jobs. But we decided that we were going to have a certain amount of money in our bank account, in our business bank account, before we would even leave our jobs, so that cash flow would not be an issue.
Was developing the actual product, the skincare product, difficult, or is that something? I haven't worked with chemists. Do you just say to them, I'll use toothpaste, for example, we want a new toothpaste and let this one taste like hamburgers or chocolate candy or something. Do you tell them the requirements that you want and then they come up with 2 or 3 or 10 and then you test them or test market it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Simone, that was her responsibilities because she was a trained esthetician. So when we approached our chemist, and to be honest, we actually had to go through like 3 chemists because again, what we wanted to do, we wanted it for all skin types. We wanted it 2 steps. We wanted to see results in 14 days, and so again, we already knew what we were looking for first of all in a chemist because we interviewed all our chemists, and then like you said, Bill, we gave the chemist a list of ingredients. Because we wanted to use a lot of natural ingredients also, because people are going more clean as far as skincare. So Simone, supplied the ingredients. They They determine the different formulations, the percentages of what goes in there. Again, we tested it out, and then when, we went back and forth, Simone was like, okay, put a little bit more here, a little bit more there. And that's how we did it. So it's like trial and error, but we did have some knowledge on what we wanted to do so that it wouldn't just be the chemist just coming up with what he wanted. We wanted it to be what we wanted the product to be. We wanted to birth this product.
Now, Tammie, again, at this point in the show, we want to remind our listeners, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Bill Horan. Our guest today is Tammie Sykes, Sykes. She is the founder and president of Dion Michaels Skincare for Men, a new product, and it's coming out on Amazon, as she told you, very soon. Tammie, can you tell us the website if people want to know more about the product or where they can get it or what it can do for them?
Of course. The website address is www.dionmichaels, DionMichaels.com. So please go and check us out. We're getting a lot of positive reviews. Men are loving it. And we're excited about all the press that we're getting so far.
If you could do anything over, what would you look back and say, you know what, if I could have done this Thursday morning, I would have changed this, or I would have used Formula 6 instead of 19, or I would have put it in a red box instead of a green one?
You know what, if we had to do it all over again, I think what we would have done, I think we would have launched quicker. Because again, there's some hesitancy. Because again, we had the failure. Remember, Bill, we had the failure, the first business failure. And I don't want to lie to your listeners, that thing was still kind of in the back of our minds. And so we knew we had a good product. We had tested it. People were giving rave reviews on it, but we still kind of hesitated. Because again, we were still kind of, what if it fails? What if this doesn't work? And so if we had to do it all over again, and I think Simone would agree, we would have launched a little sooner. And we would not have allowed the voices in our head to kind of have us to delay it a little bit because we were a little nervous because we didn't want another business failure. And again, we had done the homework this second time around. We had the mastermind group. We put the money aside, but we were still hesitant because that thing was still speaking to us. So if I had to do it all over again, we probably would have launched it a little bit sooner.
Now, you talked about the mastermind, and that has the word mind in there. And I know you mentioned that there are, I think, 4 mind shifts to achieve success. And
yes.
Tell our audience about that, because we're hearing a lot about that, just how what we create in our mind is directing us. And as you talked about in the mission statement, to talk about the mind shifts and what we need to be successful.
Yes. So the first mind shift, we talked about it, but it bears repeating. You want to have a definite, well thought out mission statement for your business. Because again, it tells your business story, the why. And again, when you're making all of these decisions concerning your business, and the business statement and the mission statement is what you go back to tell you go in this direction versus this direction. You hire this person. It gives the whole vision and gives you direction on where to go. Number 2, the second mindset is to change your thinking from an employee mindset. And Simone and I had to go through that because, again, we were workers. We worked for someone. And so, again, when you're an employee, the systems are already set up. You work certain hours. When you have a business, you got to create your own systems. You can't go to the IT department because you're the IT department. You can't go to the accounting department because you are. Now, you can hire contractors and stuff to do that, but you're responsible for setting up the systems where your business is going to run through. And when you're an employee, all of that stuff is set up. Another thing is we had to understand that it wasn't 9 to 5 anymore. Our business requires us to be there whenever we have to be there. So there's Saturdays, there's weekends we're working, there's night times we're working to get product mailed out. So again, it is not a 9 to 5 thing. And so again, you got to make the paradigm shift, especially people who are working and decide that they're going to start a business. You have got to make that mind shift, from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. And then another thing is financial limits. When you're working, you know that check is coming every 2 weeks, 15, 30 of whatever. When you're an entrepreneur, if you don't work, you don't eat. So, and somebody told me that a long time ago, and I always remember that. If you don't work this thing, you don't eat, you don't pay your bills, So again, it's up to that entrepreneur to go out and hunt, to get the business so that the business can be successful. Number 3, I like this. You want to become a whole brain entrepreneur. And so again, your brain is unlimited. And so again, when I talk about being a whole brain entrepreneur, we're talking about exercising those what we call executive functions, decision making, managing your emotional reactions to things. Because as a business owner, you can't, when something doesn't work for you, you just can't think the first thing I'm going to quit. So you have to manage your emotions. You have to plan for the future. As an entrepreneur, you're always planning your next step, your next move. And so what you're doing is you're honing that part of the brain that operates as an executive. And so again, as an entrepreneur, you got to keep doing that. You got to predict, you got to focus. And again, boy, I'm telling you, one thing that I've learned being an entrepreneur is you got to have incredible focus. Because again, you don't have a manager over your shoulder. You're not getting any type of reviews once a year. It's up to you to make this business successful. And then, last but not least, I want to talk about the power of yet. And this is what somebody taught me too. And the power of yet is, I don't know the answer yet, but I will figure it out. So again, once you don't say can't, just say, I don't have the answer yet.
Simone,
and again,
I'm sorry, Tammie. No, I was going to say, I love that, the power of yet. I often say to a guest, that's your next book or your next article. And I seriously think if you're writing a book about your business, and I'm sure you will someday, or at least an extended article, the power of yet sounds one of those titles that if I saw it in a bookstore, I would have to look at it because what does she mean by that? So you've already, it's like putting sticky gum on there. You already brought me into it. Now I'm looking at it. And of course, once I see your story, it's a success story. You know what you're doing and you've given us great advice.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Tammie Sykes. Once again, give us that website.
It is www.dionmichaels.com. Please go and check us out.
I think everybody's going to be seeing that all over the place now. So you can say you saw it here first on Secrets of Success and learned about the power of yet from our guest, Tammie Sykes. Tammie, thanks so much for being with us today. We'd like to remind our audience that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.